What's the most entitled thing a customer has said to you? So, I work at this small family-owned hardware store. Nothing fancy, just a place where old guys argue about screws and teenagers come in panicking because their school project is due in 2 hours. Normally it's chill, but there's this one woman who comes in maybe twice a month, and every time feels like the universe testing my patience like I must have done something terrible in a past life. She walks in one Saturday morning with that "I own this place but also hate being here" energy. So you know the type. Sunglasses indoors, giant purse like she's smuggling a small farm animal, and talking on speakerphone at full volume. She marches straight up to the counter and slaps down this rusty garden tool, not just used, but like found in the ruins of Pompeii, levels of decay. No receipt, no packaging. Honestly, it looked older than the store itself. She says, "I need to return this. It broke." And I swear I thought she was joking at first, so I kind of chuckled. Big mistake. Huge. She went full Medusa glare mode on me. I checked the product number. It's from a brand we haven't sold in 8 years. I tell her that, calmly, gently, almost apologetically, and she goes, "Well, that's not my problem. I bought it here." Then she launches into this rant about how corporations don't respect loyal customers. And I don't have the heart to tell her we're literally a tiny local business owned by a man who still uses a flip phone. She keeps going on about how she's a taxpayer and a homeowner and a woman in America, as if any of that magically changes the laws of time or inventory I offer to help her find a replacement tool. She says, "Why would I buy something I'm owed?" Like, ma'am, what debt do you think we owe you? Did we borrow money from you in 1997? Did one of our employees steal a cow from your ancestors? What is happening? I try to explain again that it's not an item we can return. And then she says the most entitled thing I've ever heard while tapping the counter with those terrifying long acrylic nails. "Listen, you clearly don't understand. I am the customer. That means you do what I say." Like she was revealing some ancient rule of the universe. The way she said it, I swear she expected lightning to strike or angels to descend or the ceiling tiles to fall away, revealing a giant glowing sign that said, "Customer always right," I told her, in the politest voice I could summon from the depths of my soul. "Being the customer doesn't mean we can break policy." She gasped, like full dramatic gasp, hand to chest like I'd insulted the Queen of England. Then she demanded to speak to a manager. Our manager walked out, took one look at the tool, and said, "This hasn't been sold here since Obama's first term." She stormed out with a "I'll never shop here again," a promise we've been praying she keeps. The kicker. She came back the next week like nothing happened and asked for help finding a watering can. She even waved at me like we were old friends who just had a silly little misunderstanding. Honestly, the audacity some people carry around is heavier than anything we sell in the entire store. I used to work the front counter at a small-town pharmacy, and let me tell you, nothing prepares you for how bold some people get when they think customer status outranks literal medical law. This one woman, let's call her Linda, because of course it was a Linda came in so often that I basically knew her order before she even opened her mouth. But one day she stepped over a line I didn't even know existed. She walks in already looking annoyed, like someone had personally rearranged her molecules that morning. She puts her handbag on the counter like she's slamming evidence in a courtroom and says, "I need another refill of my medication." I pull up her profile and see she's totally out of refills and needs her doctor to approve more normal stuff. Happens every day. I explain this to her gently like, "Hey, your doctor just needs to renew it. I can fax them right now." She squints at me like I'm speaking in riddles and goes, "No, you don't understand. I'm a regular here." Okay, cool. Great, fantastic. So is half the town. Being a regular doesn't magically grant the power to override prescription law, but apparently she thought otherwise. She leans in close and whispers like she's revealing classified government intel, "Just print another label and give it to me. Nobody will know." I'm standing there thinking, literally the DEA would know. So I tell her, I can't legally do that. She sighs dramatically and says the immortal line I will never forget. Sweetie laws don't apply the same to loyal customers. I swear I had to bite my tongue. Loyal customers. This isn't a coffee punch card. You don't get a free illegal prescription after your 10th visit. What did she expect, a little punch stamp and a "congrats, your next felony is on us" card? I tell her again that I can fax her doctor. She rolls her eyes and says, "Do you think I have time for that? I'm very busy." Right. Too busy to follow the law, but not too busy to stand here lecturing me like I'm failing my apprenticeship under her. She then tries to guilt trip me. "I've been a customer here for years. I spend hundreds of dollars here. You're seriously going to inconvenience me?" As if the DEA is going to go, "Oh, she spends money? Okay, cool, carry on." I tell her firmly, "I legally cannot dispense this without approval." She stares at me for a solid 10 seconds, like she's trying to Jedi mind trick me into breaking federal law. Then she slams her hand on the counter and says loud enough for everyone in line to hear, "I am the customer. You are just the worker. Do what I say." And I swear you could feel the air shift, because everyone in line suddenly went super quiet. My manager came out after hearing the commotion. He tells her the exact same thing I told her. She fires back with, "Well, he should have been trained better to accommodate me. Lady, if accommodating means risking prison time, then no thank you." She storms out with a dramatic huff, saying she'll report this pharmacy for discrimination against what people who don't understand how prescriptions work. The funniest part, her doctor approved the refill like 2 hours later. She came back in, avoided eye contact, grabbed the bag, and left without saying a single word. Honestly, I still think about her sometimes. Mostly because I'm amazed she thought customer loyalty had the power to undo federal regulations. I used to work at a mid-sized grocery store, the kind where the shelves always smell faintly like cardboard and the intercom is permanently stuck on 2% volume. I was a cashier on the weekend morning shift, which is basically the Hunger Games with shopping carts. And one Sunday morning, I met her, the customer, who convinced me that some people think motherhood gives them diplomatic immunity. She rolls up to my register with 2 full carts, not 1, 2. Already my soul left my body, but whatever. I've dealt with worse. I start scanning her stuff, trying to move quickly, and she's on her phone the entire time, loudly telling someone that her idiot husband can't even boil pasta. Charming. Anyway, we get to the end, and her total is something like $312. She hands me 4 crumpled coupons. No problem, I scan them. Only one works, the other 3 expired, like 2 years ago, I tell her politely. Only this one applies, the rest are expired. She looks at me like I just told her gravity isn't real. Oh no, honey, they take them for me anyway. I say, "We can't accept expired ones." She waves her hand and rolls her eyes. No, 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 you don't understand, I'm a mom. I literally thought she was joking. I actually laughed. My mistake. She instantly snaps, "Moms get exceptions. I'm busy, I work hard, I don't have time to check expiration dates." I tell her we still aren't allowed to override corporate policy. She huffs and goes, "Well, just do it anyway, I won't tell." Yeah, okay. Let me just commit coupon fraud, because Karen of the Lake demands tribute. I calmly repeat the rule. She gets louder. Unbelievable moms should get priority. I should get discounts for even being here. At this point, people in other lines are staring. Someone actually backed their cart up like they wanted to physically increase their distance from this meltdown. Then she hits me with, "Do you even have kids?" No, then don't talk to me about responsibilities. Ma'am, my job title doesn't magically change the system settings. She demands a manager. Manager comes over, gives her the exact same explanation. She points at me and shouts, "She just doesn't get what it's like to be a mother. You should make exceptions for people like me." My manager, who has 3 kids, says, "I'm a mom too. It still doesn't work like that." I genuinely had to look away to hide my smile. She goes red like tomato Reed and tries a different angle. Fine, then give me the employee discount. We both just stare at her. "Ma'am, you're not an employee." She fires back, "But I shop here every week." So apparently shopping loyalty and employment now amazing. She eventually pays full price, but not before saying, "This place used to know how to treat hardworking mothers shameful." Then she grabs her bags like she's carrying the emotional weight of society and storms out muttering about entitlement, which nearly broke my brain. The cherry on top. 30 seconds later, she comes back in because she left her car running the entire time. Back when I worked at a small family-owned diner, I learned that some customers believe the universe owes them a free meal just because they walked into the building. It was a weekday lunch shift, super slow, the kind of quiet morning where you can actually hear the ceiling fan squeak. Then he walked in a guy in a suit that screamed, "Middle management but thinks he's CEO." He sits in my section, doesn't say hello, just waves his hand like I'm a taxi. He flagged down. I go over with my usual, "Hey there, what can I get you started with?" And he smirks at me like he's about to present me with a pop quiz. He orders the big breakfast eggs bacon, sausage pancakes, hash browns, the whole deal. I repeat his order back. He grunts. Whatever. The food comes out perfect, I know, because I saw the cook fuss over it, like it was going to be photographed for a menu. I drop it off, ask if he needs anything else. He ignores me, just starts eating. Fast forward 20 minutes. His plate is literally licked clean, not a crumb in sight. The man ate everything down to the syrup drips. I come over with the check and say, "All set." He pushes the plate away dramatically, leans back and says, the line that made me want to exit my body, "I'm not paying for this." It wasn't what I meant to order. Just imagine my soul leaving my body like a cartoon ghost. I say, "I read your order back to you." He shrugs. "Yeah, but I wasn't paying attention. So technically that's your mistake." Sir, what? I stand there processing this Olympic-level entitlement, and he continues, "You should have known what I meant, not what I said." He says it like he's explaining basic physics to a toddler. I tell him kindly, but firmly, that since he ate the entire meal, he has to pay for it. He folds his arms and says, "I refuse to pay for something I didn't want. Eating it doesn't change the principle." The principle. You inhaled it like you hadn't seen food in days. I offer to get the manager. He says, "Good. Maybe they know how to treat paying customers." Important note, he is not yet a paying customer. My manager comes over, listens patiently, looks at the empty plate, and basically gives him the "Are you serious right now" stare. She tells him he has to pay. He tries to argue again. "I don't pay for mistakes I didn't know I made." My manager deadpans, "Then stop making them." I almost laughed out loud. He didn't find it funny. He turns red, reaches into his wallet very aggressively, slaps down the money like it offended him, and storms out yelling, "This is why small businesses fail." Yeah, dude. Because of customers like you. The best part. He came back the next week like nothing happened, sat in a different section, ordered the same thing, paid full price. Some people really live in their own universe. I used to work the front desk at a semi-fancy Gymtha kind of place where the smoothies cost more than my hourly wage, and the membership contracts read like they were written by a bored lawyer with a god complex. Because it was upscale, we attracted a very specific flavor of customer people who thought paying $89 a month gave them royal immunity. One afternoon, this woman comes in wearing sunglasses big enough to have their own zip code. She walks up to the desk, not even a hello. Just plops her handbag in front of me like it's a sacred offering. She says, "Cancel my late fee." No intro. No explanation. Just a command. I pull up her account, and yeah, she was 13 days past due, and the system automatically added the fee. Standard stuff. I tell her politely, "I can't waive it, but I can help you get your account current." She exhales dramatically, like I personally attacked her aura. "No. You don't understand? My husband is basically practically a VIP here." Basically, practically already told me everything I needed to know. I check her husband's account, normal member, nothing special. She sees me looking and says, "He knows the owner." Sure he does, lady. The way everyone in town knows the mayor because they saw him once at a grocery store, I tell her the rule again. She adjusts her sunglasses and delivers this gem. "Do you know who my husband pretends to be?" And I swear to God I almost said, "Ma'am, do you know who your husband pretends to be?" Because clearly he's pretending hard and failing harder, I try to keep it together. I'm sorry, I still can't wave it. She slams her manicured hand on the counter and goes, if he were here, he'd handle this. He's a very important personality. Personality, not person. Personality. Like he's an Instagram filter with a gym membership. She then says, just override the system, nobody will know. Why do entitled people assume we all have the same commit casual fraud for me hobby? I tell her firmly that we can't. She leans in, lowers her voice like she's sharing state secrets. I'll leave a bad Google review, that should teach you. Ma'am, we have 6 bad reviews already. What's one more? I offer to let her talk to my manager. She crosses her arms like a petulant child and says, fine, but tell them it's urgent. I'm not waiting like some common member. My manager comes out, hears the situation, and Shocker tells her the exact same thing I did. The woman gasps like she witnessed a murder. You're taking her side. My manager says, I'm taking the contract you signed. The silence that followed was so thick you could spread it on toast. She eventually pays the fee, but not before muttering, I hope your little minimum wage job was worth this. Then she snatches her receipt and storms out like she's the main character leaving a betrayal scene. The best part. Her husband came in later that week asking if he could remove her from the account because she keeps causing problems he has to apologize for. Turns out even he didn't want to pretend anymore. I used to work at a clothing store in a big mall, one of those places where the lighting is way too bright and the mannequins look like they're silently judging your entire life. My job was mostly folding shirts that customers immediately unfolded again and pretending to care deeply about which jeans spoke to people. But one day, I met a woman who redefined the word entitlement in ways I didn't know were humanly possible. She walks in with this energy like the store personally owed her money. No hello, no smile. Just stomps over holding a big shopping bag from our store like it's a dead body. She slams it onto the counter so hard my coworker flinched. I do my retail smile and say, hi there, what can I help you with today? She goes, I want a refund. Full refund. Right now. Okay, fine. People return stuff all the time. I open the bag and pull out a dress sparkly gold I'm going to outshine the bride at her own wedding energy. I scan the receipt and see she bought it 4 days ago, so nothing unusual. Then I see the problem. The dress is absolutely destroyed. I don't mean worn, I don't mean wrinkled. I mean the entire bottom is ripped, the back zipper is broken. There's what looks like wine stains all over it, and the inside smells like someone sprinted a marathon in a thunderstorm. I look at her and gently say, unfortunately, we can't return items that were worn and damaged like this. She throws her hands up. It's damaged because you sold it to me like that. Ma'am, the zipper is literally torn out of the fabric. You did not walk out of the store like that unless you belly flopped through a barbed wire fence on the way home. I explain that again. She doubles down. You should have inspected it better before letting me buy it. That's your job. I'm not responsible for your mistakes. I'm standing there thinking, my mistake. Lady, I wasn't even working the day you bought this. She continues ranting now louder. I wore it to a charity gala and halfway through the night it ripped open. I was humiliated. Humiliated. And that is your fault for not stopping me. Stopping you. From what? Buying a dress you later used as a wrestling outfit, I say calmly, I'm sorry that happened, but once an item has been worn, we can't accept a return. She slams her fist on the counter. You should have told me it would rip. Like I'm some kind of psychic fabric fortune teller, I offer store credit as a compromise. She looks at me like I just suggested she eat dirt. I don't want store credit. I want all my money back, and I want compensation for the embarrassment I suffered. Compensation. For her choice to squeeze herself into a dress 3 sizes too small. Because we could literally see the stretch marks on the seams. My manager comes over. She tells the woman the same thing, but nicer than I did. The woman starts fake crying like dramatic soap opera crying, going, I expected better from this establishment. You let me down, both of you. Then she says something that nearly made me quit retail on the spot. You should have stopped me from making a bad decision. Isn't that your job? No ma'am, I'm paid $12 an hour. Not nearly enough to manage your life choices. She eventually storms out, screeching something about never shopping here again. But the funniest part, she came back 2 weeks later and bought the same dress in a different color. Same size, same cut, same everything. And yes, she tried to return that one too. I used to work at a fast casual burger place, the kind where the tables are always a little sticky no matter how much you wipe them, and the soda machine is constantly making suspicious hissing noises. My shift was the dinner rushaka, the hour of chaos where every single customer shows up, convinced they are the main character in my personal nightmare. One night in walks this guy with, "I'm about to ruin your day" energy. He's pacing in line like a stressed out tiger, muttering to himself, sighing loudly every 5 seconds so everyone around him knows he's unhappy. He gets up to my register and slams his hands on the counter like he's about to interrogate me. I give my standard retail smile and say, "Hi there, what can I get for you?" He says, "First of all, fix your attitude." My attitude. Sir, I haven't even said anything yet, but I move on. You get used to swallowing your pride when you're wearing a visor covered in grease stains. He orders a double bacon burger with everything on it. Fries and a milkshake. I ring it up and tell him the total. He stares at the screen. Offended. Why is it so much? I explain the prices. He scoffs. No, I'm not paying that. I'm in a really bad mood today and I think I deserve a discount. I thought he was joking. I literally waited for him to laugh. He did not laugh. He leans closer and says, "Give me the meal for free. Not even a discount. Free." I tell him I can't do that. He waves his hand dismissively. You don't get it. My day has been terrible. I've dealt with dumb people everywhere I've gone. You owe me this. I don't even know him. I don't even know his name. But apparently I personally owe him emotional compensation. I repeat, I can't give food away. He hits me with, "You're really not going to help someone who's suffering." Suffering from what? The burden of being mildly inconvenienced. He then points to the tip jar and goes, "You expect people to help you, but you won't help me." Hypocrite. I tell him again, I can't give away free food. He narrows his eyes like I've insulted his ancestors and says, "Do you know who my brother is?" No, and I do not care, but I say, "No, sir." He puffs up his chest like a rooster and says, "A police officer." He says it like he's revealing he's royalty. Then he adds, "So I should get free food here." I just stare at him. Sir, this is a burger shop. What magical power do you think your brother has over beef patties I offer to void his order if he doesn't want to pay? He slams his palm on the counter again. You're really gonna make me pay full price when I'm already having a horrible day. At this point, the line behind him is growing. One lady whispers, "Oh my God." The guy snaps his head around and yells, "What are you looking at?" My manager sees the commotion and comes over. She asks what's wrong. He immediately launches into a dramatic monologue. This kid is refusing to help me. I told him I'm having the worst day of my life and he won't even give me my meal for free. He's heartless. My manager, who is absolutely done with this man on site, replies, "Sir, being in a bad mood does not entitle you to free food." He gasps like she slapped him. "So this is how you treat customers. I'm never coming back here." He storms out, pushing the door so hard it bounces back and almost hits him. He shouts, "This place sucks" at the sky like it personally offended him. The best part, he came back 30 minutes later because he realized he left his car keys on the counter while he was yelling at me. He walked in quietly, picked them up, avoided eye contact, and left without saying a single word. Back when I worked at a car rental place, I learned that some customers believe time stops existing when it's inconvenient for them. Our location was at the airport, which meant people came in jet-lagged, sweaty, angry, confused, and absolutely convinced that we personally delayed their flights, stole their luggage, and caused their childhood traumas. One afternoon, this guy storms in dragging a roller suitcase behind him like it insulted his mother. He walks straight past the line, straight past 20 people patiently waiting, and plants himself at my counter like he's the main character in a disaster movie, and I'm the frantic airport worker who must save him. I say, "Sir, there's a line." He waves his hand. Yeah, I don't do lines. Oh, okay. He doesn't do lines, like they're optional, like taxes or gravity. I politely ask him to take his place at the back. He scoffs loudly. Are you kidding me? I just got off a long flight. I shouldn't have to wait. Everyone else in line looks at him with the exact same expression. Bro, we all just got off long flights. Anyway, after arguing for a minute, he finally storms to the back, muttering loudly about how service in this country is pathetic. Whatever, the line moves normally and eventually we get to him. He slams his ID on the counter like he's trying to break the laminate. I want the SUV I reserved. I look up his reservation and there it is. He reserved a mid-size sedan, not an SUV, a sedan. Not even close, I say. Sir, your reservation is for a sedan. He rolls his eyes so hard I swear I heard muscle tension crack. No, I decided I want the SUV. Give me the SUV. I check our fleet. Every single SUV is gone. There's a shortage, it's peak season. Nothing I can magically summon from thin air. I explain politely, I'm sorry, we're completely out of SUVs right now. He slams his hand on the counter. Then give me yours, mine. My personal, very non-existent corporate-issued SUV, I tell him no. He starts raising his voice. I waited in that stupid line, I should get compensation for that. And I swear, this man leaned forward, stared into my soul, and said, I don't pay for waiting. Waiting is free. So give me an SUV. I blink. Once, twice. Waiting is free, sir. He says, no, you owe me for making me wait. That means I get an upgrade. An upgrade that doesn't exist. In a car class we ran out of 6 hours ago. I tell him again, we do not have any SUVs. He jabs a finger toward the parking lot. I see cars out there. Those are customer cars. Cars people drove here. He genuinely thought our personal vehicles were rental stock. I wish I was joking. He keeps arguing. The line behind him is growing. My manager comes over. She explains the same thing. He cuts her off mid-sentence. I shouldn't have to suffer because you didn't plan properly. She offers him a partial refund. He says, no, I want you to waive the entire rental cost and give me the SUV. We are now in a battle with physics and reality itself. My manager says we literally do not have an SUV. He stares at her, pauses, and finally delivers the most entitled sentence I have ever heard in my entire working life. Then go get one. Go get one from where the SUV tree behind the airport, the magical Fleet Factory down the street. He actually expected my manager to leave her shift drive off somewhere and hunt for a vehicle like it was Pokemon Go. Eventually, after 10 solid minutes of tantrum-level rage, he says, fine, give me the sedan, but you better discount it heavily for all the trouble you put me through. My manager applies a tiny discount out of pure exhaustion. He snatches the keys, looks at us both and says, next time remember who the customer is. Sir, we will remember. We will also remember never to pray for your continued existence. I used to work at a mid-tier clothing store in a suburban mall, the kind of place where the music is too loud, the mannequins stare into your soul, and customers come in either way, too happy or ready to fight God himself. One Saturday afternoon, the mall was packed and the chaos level was at a solid 9-10. I was folding jeans at a table when this middle-aged woman storms in like she owns the place. She's wearing sunglasses indoors, a huge purse, and the kind of expression that tells you she's already angry about something you have nothing to do with. She walks right up to me and says, "You fix your attitude." I blink because I literally hadn't spoken yet. I give her my best retail smile and say, "Hi there, how can I help you today?" She scoffs. Then she says, "Don't use that tone with me." The tone was normal. Standard boring. Before I can say anything, she slams a shirt on the table and says, "This was 40% off last week. I demand you give it to me for that price, and if you refuse, I'll have your job." I tell her as politely as humanly possible. Unfortunately, I can only apply the current promotion, which is 25% off. She steps closer. Too close I can smell the perfume she bathed in. She hisses, "Do you know who I am?" I absolutely did not. She continues, "I personally know the district manager and the CEO and the founder of this company. If you don't give me the discount, I'm going to call them all right now and have you fired on the spot. I worked at this company for 2 years. Do you know what the founder's name is?" Spoiler, she did not. I say, "If you'd like, I can call the store manager for you." She throws her hands up dramatically and says, "Unbelievable the disrespect. Fine, get them, I'll have both of you fired." So I page my manager over the radio. He comes out with the exact energy of a man who has seen every form of human nonsense and is spiritually done. She immediately screams, "I want this employee terminated." My manager goes, "Why?" She launches into a full Shakespeare monologue about how rude I was, how I insulted her, how I refused a lawful discount, and how I threatened her. I'm standing there like a confused houseplant. My manager looks at her, looks at the shirt, looks at me and goes, "Ma'am, the sale ended Monday." She screams back, "Well, unend it." My manager says, I don't control time." She gasps like he slapped her, "This customer service is outrageous, you're both fired." He calmly replies, "Ma'am, you don't work here, you can't fire us." She freezes processes, then says the most entitled thing I've ever heard in my life. "Actually, I can fire you, I'm a customer, that means I outrank both of you." I swear the entire store went silent. Even the music paused. My manager finally cracks and lets out the deepest sigh I've ever heard from a human. He points to the exit and says, "Ma'am, please leave." She tries to argue, but he repeats it until she stormed out yelling about how she's putting in a complaint with corporate and how the company will crumble when they lose someone as important as her. Spoiler. She never called corporate, she never came back, and somehow, miraculously, the company survived her departure. To this day, whenever I think of her shouting, "I outrank both of you," I laugh so hard my stomach hurts.